Developing story out of Apopka. We are still working to get answers from police about how two people died in this convenience store on Friday. Now, according to family, Apopka police found Shanita and Ezra Swift inside Griffin's General Store. That's on West Michael Gladden Boulevard. Now, Sam Martello joins us live from Apopka, the police department there. And Sam, you're in place to get an update from police.
Carl, so we haven't heard from Apopka police since Friday night. We're going on day 3 now with no updates, but we were told we do expect some new information sometime this week. We just don't know when exactly just yet. A growing memorial of balloons, candles, and flowers sits outside of Griffin's General Store in Apopka. We're told inside, Shanita and Ezra Swift were found dead. Investigators aren't saying what happened. According to the owner of the store, Shanita was at the store working Friday night. Her brother was there with her. The owner wasn't there, but says there was a shooting inside. According to the store owner, quote, he knows what happened because of what he saw when he walked in his store after police cleared the scene.
She didn't deserve to die like that, period. Nobody does.
And while the store owner didn't want to speak on camera, friends of the victim say this is a loss that will be felt throughout the whole community.
She was fun. She was funny. She was cool to be around. You get what I'm saying? She didn't have a bad attitude. She had a loving spirit.
Now, we did speak more with the friends of the victims who really are just in shock over all of this unfolding. You're going to hear more from them coming up in 30 minutes. Live in Apopka, Sam Martello, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Sam, thank you. Now, here's some more details on what we know. On Friday, just before 9 p.m., Apopka police responded to Griffin General Store where 2 bodies were discovered. Griffin's General Store closed this weekend for the first time in 10 years as that vigil right there grew outside. Now, we are hoping for an update from police to learn more about what happened.
Friday night, regular shift. Shanita Swift clocked in at Griffin's General Store like she'd done 1,000 times before. By 9 p.m., she was dead on the floor, her own brother standing over her, gun in his hand. And here's what nobody can answer. Why? This is Apopka, Florida. Small community where everybody knows everybody. The kind of place where you walk into the corner store and the person behind the counter remembers your name, asks about your mama, makes you smile even when you're having the worst day of your life. Shanita Swift? She was that person. February 6th, 2026. Griffin's General Store on West Michael Gladden Boulevard. Police get the call just before 9 p.m. When they walk through those doors, they're expecting maybe a robbery gone wrong, a break-in, something that makes sense. What they found was 2 bodies, brother and sister, both gone, and the entire community trying to piece together how this could even be real. In every home, behind every closed door, there's a story waiting to be uncovered. Welcome to Dark Whispers, where we dive deep into the hidden truths of domestic crime and the relationships that turn deadly. If you're drawn to real stories, powerful insights, and the shadows most people avoid, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and step into the whispers they never wanted you to hear. Let me tell you something about Shanita. If you ever walked into Griffin's General Store, you knew her energy before you even made it to the counter. Bright smile, warm presence, the type of woman who could look at you and just know you needed lifting up that day. And she'd do it too, without you even asking. One of her regulars, man named Marvin Prince, he said it best. Every single time he saw Shanita behind that counter, she had a smile on her face. Not the fake customer service smile either. The real one. The kind that made you feel like you mattered. Her friend Victor? He'd been knowing Shanita for years. Good people. The kind of friendship where you don't even have to say much. You just show up for each other. He remembered how she'd say something to brighten your whole day, even if she barely knew you. Even if you didn't realize you were down, Shanita would bring you up. That's who she was. A really, really good person, Victor said, and he meant every word. But here's what makes this whole thing even harder to process. This wasn't some random violence. This wasn't a stranger. This wasn't a robbery or a carjacking or any of the things that we're used to hearing about on the news. This was family. Ezra Swift, Shanita's own brother. Now, we don't know a lot about Ezra, what his life looked like, what he was going through, whether there were signs that something was breaking inside him. The details? They're thin, real thin, and that's part of what makes this so painful for everyone trying to make sense of it. What we do know is this. On that Friday night, Ezra walked into his sister's job, the place where she made people feel safe, where she spread light, and he brought darkness with him. The day it happened. Friday, February 6th. Victor was at the store earlier that evening. Around 6:30 p.m., he said his goodbyes to Shanita and headed out. Everything seemed normal. Just another shift. Just another day. Shanita was still smiling. That was the last time he'd see his friend alive. Somewhere between 6:30 and 9 p.m., Ezra Swift made his way to Griffin's general store. We don't know if he called first. We don't know if Shanita saw him coming. We don't know if there was an argument or if this had been building for days, weeks, months. What we know is that when police arrived at that store just before 9 o'clock, they found 2 adults dead inside, brother and sister. And the scene told a story that nobody wanted to believe. Apopka Police Department put out their initial statement carefully. They said there was no ongoing threat to the public, but they didn't immediately call it a murder-suicide. They said it was unclear whether this was a double homicide or something else entirely. The community? They were stuck in shock. Marvin Prince couldn't wrap his head around it. "This is a sad, sad situation," he said. "I am really shocked." He kept thinking about the timing. The store was open. It was early evening on a Friday. People were around. So how did nobody know what was happening? How did nobody hear? How did nobody see? "Somebody knows something," he said. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. In a small community like Apopka, in a busy store on a Friday night, somebody had to have seen something, heard something, noticed something off. But sometimes the truth is quieter than we expect. Sometimes violence happens in plain sight, and we don't even realize it until it's too late. When Apopka police walked into Griffin's general store that Friday night, they had to process a scene that didn't make sense at first glance. 2 bodies, no signs of forced entry, no robbery, the cash register untouched. This wasn't about money. This wasn't about drugs. This wasn't about anything the officers were used to seeing in cases like this. The evidence started telling its own story. Investigators collected everything: shell casings, blood spatter patterns, the weapon itself. They interviewed witnesses, people who'd been in and around the store that evening. They pulled surveillance footage if there was any. They documented every single detail because in a case like this, you can't afford to miss anything. And slowly, the picture became clear. Ezra Swift had walked into that store with one intention. He shot his sister Shanita multiple times, and then he turned that same gun on himself. The police didn't rush to judgment. They waited. They let the forensic evidence speak. They let the witness statements line up. They made sure they had it right before they said anything publicly. Because when you're telling a family that their daughter and son are both gone, and that one killed the other before taking his own life, you better be certain. By Monday, February 9th, Apopka Police Department was ready to confirm what the evidence had been showing them all weekend. This was a domestic murder-suicide between 2 adult siblings. The brother shot and killed his sister. Then he shot and killed himself. The evidence collected at the scene, the witness statements, the forensic findings, all of it pointed to the same conclusion. No arrests to be made, no trial to prepare for. No justice system to navigate. Just two families destroyed and a community left trying to understand how this happened. The police department released a statement acknowledging what everyone already knew. While this incident occurred within a family context, the department recognizes that any act of family violence has a significant emotional impact on loved ones and the broader community. Their thoughts were with the family, but thoughts don't bring people back. Thoughts don't answer the questions that keep folks up at night, the questions nobody can answer. Here's what gets me about this whole situation. Nobody knows why. We know what happened. We know who did it. We know when and where. But the why, that died with Ezra Swift when he pulled that trigger the second time. Was there an argument that day? Had there been tension building between them for weeks, months, years? Was this about money? About family drama? About something Shanita said, or did that set him off? Or was this about something broken inside Ezra that had nothing to do with his sister at all? We'll never know. And that's the part that haunts people. That's the part that keeps the community asking questions even when the police have closed the case. Marvin Prince said it himself. The store was open. It was early evening. People were around. So how did this happen without anyone intervening? Without anyone calling for help in time? The truth is, violence doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's quick. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes by the time anyone realizes what's happening, it's already over. Victor, Shanita's friend, he's still trying to process it. He called her a really, really good person. Someone who didn't deserve this. And he's right. But when has deserving ever mattered in cases like this? Domestic violence doesn't care about who deserves what. It doesn't care about how good you are, how kind you are, how much light you bring into the world. It just takes, and it leaves behind nothing but grief and questions.
Meantime, we are learning more about what led to police finding a brother and sister dead in a convenience store Friday night. This all happened at Griffin's General Store on West Michael Gladden Boulevard in Apopka. West 2's Justin Shecker is there live. Justin, what did you learn from police today?
Well, Jesse, at the top of the hour, Apopka police posted on their Facebook page that this was a domestic murder-suicide involving two siblings. Police say investigators determined the suspect went into this general store on Friday, fatally shot his sister, and then took his own life.
The community is really shocked.
Griffin's General Store in Apopka was still closed Monday afternoon as people stopped by to add items to the temporary memorial of balloons, candles, and flowers out front.
I'm still trying to process this, because she was a really, really good friend of mine, and she was a really, really good person.
Victor says he last saw his friend Shanita Swift Friday evening when he left the store around 6:30.
It's like unbelievable that something like this could happen to such a wonderful person.
Family members identified Shanita and her brother Ezra Swift as the two people Apopka police found dead inside this business just before 9 on Friday night. In their initial update on Facebook, police said there was no known ongoing threat to the public, and it was unclear if this was a double homicide or a possible murder-suicide.
Once you got in the store, she would say something funny to bring you up, even if she didn't know you were down. She was just that type of person. This is a sad, sad situation. I am really shocked.
Marvin Prince says every time he'd see Shanita behind the counter at the general store, she had a smile on her face.
I pray and hope that they find and figure out what happened here, because this is just unbelievable. For that time of night, the store is open. A lot of people is around here, so I don't understand why nobody don't know nothing, but somebody knows something.
And again, the breaking news update at the top of the hour. Apopka police say the evidence collected at the scene, witness statements, and forensic findings confirm that this was a domestic murder-suicide between those two adult siblings. Covering Orange County Live in Apopka, I'm Justin Shecker, WESH 2 News.
By Monday afternoon, Griffin's General Store was closed. Not for business reasons, not for renovations, but for mourning. Out front, people started building a memorial. Balloons, candles, flowers. The kind of tribute you see when a community loses someone they can't afford to lose. Folks stopped by throughout the day. Some left items. Some just stood there, staring at the building, trying to make sense of it all. Some cried. Some prayed. Some just shook their heads and walked away. This wasn't just about Shanita anymore. This was about what her death represented: the fragility of safety, the unpredictability of violence, the reality that sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who hurt us the most, and that's a hard pill to swallow. The community rallied around the family in the ways communities do, offering support, sharing memories, trying to hold space for a grief that doesn't have words. But underneath all of that, there was anger too. Anger at Ezra for what he did. Anger at a situation that maybe could have been prevented if someone had known, if someone had seen the signs, if someone had intervened. But how do you intervene in something you don't know is happening? What this case teaches us. Let's talk about what we don't talk about enough: family violence, domestic situations that escalate behind closed doors until they explode in public spaces. The assumption that because someone is blood, they won't hurt you. That because you grew up together, shared the same parents, the same childhood, the same last name, that you're safe. Shanita Swift learned the hardest way possible that none of that matters when someone decides to bring violence into your life. And here's the thing that makes cases like this so difficult to prevent. We watch for the warning signs in romantic relationships. We tell women to leave abusive partners. We create hotlines and shelters and safety plans for people escaping intimate partner violence. But what about when the threat is your sibling, your parent, your child? What about when the violence is coming from inside your own family, and you don't even see it coming because you've been conditioned your whole life to trust these people, to protect these people, to love these people no matter what? That's the conversation we need to be having. Because Shanita isn't the first person to die at the hands of a family member, and she won't be the last. Not by a long shot. The Apopka Police Department said it themselves. Any act of family violence has a significant emotional impact on loved ones and the broader community. They're right about that. But impact isn't enough. Awareness isn't enough. Thoughts and prayers damn sure aren't enough. We need to create spaces where people can talk about family dysfunction without shame. Where someone can say, "I'm afraid of my brother," or "My sister is scaring me," and be taken seriously. Where intervention happens before someone ends up dead on the floor of their workplace. Closing, Griffin's General Store on West Michael Gladden Boulevard will open again eventually. The memorial will fade. The news cycle will move on to the next tragedy. Life will continue in Apopka. But the people who knew Shanita Swift, who loved her, who depended on that smile and that energy, they'll carry this loss for the rest of their lives. And somewhere in that store, there will always be an echo of what happened that Friday night. A reminder that violence doesn't just take lives, it shatters communities. It destroys the sense of safety we all need to function. It leaves questions that haunt us long after the police tape comes down. If you're in a situation where family dynamics are turning dangerous, where someone you're related to is making you feel unsafe, please reach out. Talk to someone. Don't assume that blood means safety. Don't assume that family means protection. Because Shanita Swift probably assumed her brother wouldn't walk into her job and kill her, and she was wrong. Domestic violence doesn't just happen between romantic partners. It happens between parents and children, between siblings, between people who are supposed to love and protect each other. And until we start treating family violence with the same urgency we treat stranger violence, cases like this will keep happening. Shanita deserved better. Her community deserved better. And every person watching this right now who's dealing with family violence deserves better too. Rest in peace, Shanita Swift. You brought light into this world. And that light doesn't die just because your life did. The people you touched, the smiles you created, the moments you made brighter, those live on. That's your real legacy. Not the violence, not the tragedy, not the unanswered questions. The light. Always the light.